You guys won't believe who came back to the internet. So all of this starts with this tweet that Kyan VT made on Twitter, writing, "The audacity, ... I have very unkind things to say." And this is a screenshot of somebody's Twitter page. The Twitter handle reads DoveALoveVT, and it reads Dove Angel VTuber. Angel of Death VTuber at your service. Hashtag DoveALu, DoveALive, The post reads, "See you at 5 CST today, my loves. You know I hate horror games, but I guess I'll play them for you all." And for those of you guys who don't know the lore, you might be like, who is this? Dove is the person that doxed Kenji. And we have another screenshot circulating. Dove writes, "Guys, how the F do I become a bigger VTuber?" Metri says, "Controversy sells, not gonna lie." Dove says, "You're right." Metri says, "Aside from that, grind out and pray." Dove says, "I'm a dox Kenji again." And Kyan writes, "I'm sick." Irla Graphic says, "So much for graduating and reflecting on herself, LOL." Gore Fairy writes, "She's probably hoping it's been long enough for us to forget it happened, but using the same name is wild." Kyan writes, "It was only a few months ago she lost her whole mind for real." Kinetic Queen writes, "I seen her come back and I saw the apology video, and the way I effing cackled. I'm like, damn, Kage came back and now you, the audacity of both of you acting like y'all did nothing wrong. The video was effing wild, like she is not sorry." Pocket B says she's insane. Kaya says it's beyond nuts. And then we have other people quote retweeting with Zion writing, "I already knew that a certain somebody came back, but I'm disappointed with the amount of people who are still choosing to support them. Please stop giving bad actors a platform, I beg. They can apologize all they want, but doxing is not okay in any form, and I don't think people should have a platform after doing so. Literally, with all due respect, not everybody deserves a second chance." And Zion adds, "As somebody has mentioned, it's DoveALove. You don't change in 4 months, and I'm exhausted that we are continuously allowing people to re-enter this community even after they've done gross shit. Stop giving bad actors a platform. Instead, support those who are decent people trying to make an impact in this community." And for context as to what happened, this is what happened, and everything went down in April. This was a big tweet made by Kenji talking about the fact that they were doxed by DoveALove. So basically what happened was there was like a hate Discord for people who hated Kenji, like the haters, and Dove was doxing Kenji in there. So then Kenji had made a tweet about it and then took the tweet down because they were afraid. And then actual examples of Dove doxing Kenji. This one as far back as January 8th, 2022. And the Kenji support group is sarcastic, obviously. And then this is Dove giving out Kenji's full name, Kenji's personal Instagram. And everybody was so frustrated with this happening, with Shy Lily writing, "Some people's minds are so rotten. Tragic, you have to deal with that. Glad you got so many supporting you and sticking by your side. We'll always be there for you." And then because of the situation, Dove wrote on the same day that Kenji made their tweet, an apology to Kenji. So they wrote, "First and foremost, I want to apologize to Kenji for doxing him. I want to make it clear that I'm aware of my actions and have been doing everything to educate and better myself since the day I learned how severe it was for me to expose Kenji's legal birth name and his face in a group chat. The information is and can be harmful in the wrong hands, which in this case were my own. This was a huge mistake that I've done my best to learn from for almost 2 years, and I understand that the passage of time is no excuse for me not to be held accountable today." I will say the learning that you were wrong was not 2 years, because this tweet, "I'm a dox Kenji again," was actually last year. So the math is not mathing here. As far as the timeline goes, I doxed Kenji in January of 2022 in a private group chat consisting of 5 people. I gave his legal name as well as a few pictures of his face. My friends found his Instagram as well as a family member of his and sent it as well. This was immediately wrong. Unfortunately, back then, I was not aware of the severity of what I had done, as I would show my own personal Instagram as well as my face because I did not care about anonymity back then for myself. This does not excuse any of the doxing, and it was put into perspective when I learned over time how dangerous it was. I had the wrong initial mindset completely. 9 months after I doxed Kenji, he was made aware of this and made a tweet detailing what I had done while also sharing the screenshots. While I was still learning the dangers of doxing, this was the moment that made it evident to me about how awful my mistake was. I had no right to share that info, and I had to live with the fact that my actions would have put him in danger if I had continued the way that I was in that group chat. Within all the following nights, Kenji and I got into a call together with a mutual friend who would mediate so we could talk things out. We discussed issues we'd had with each other in the past, including everything leading up to the doxing situation and the post about it. We both apologized for things we were upset at each other for, and I had asked him if he was okay with me still supporting him and staying around his community. He said it was fine, we said our goodbyes, and left the call. So you're saying that 9 months after you learned the dangers of doxing, you doxed him January 2022, so you learned that it was wrong around October 2022, but then you made a joke that you will dox him January 2023. Make it make sense. So Dove continues. Following that call, I would rarely pop into a stream, and that progressed into me just supporting his offline content from the sidelines, as I knew he was still uncomfortable with me and I wanted to give him space. I spent my time with new friends in the space. The damage had already been done and I didn't want to hurt him anymore. So for the past year and a half since our convo, I have tried to move forward as somebody who understands the hurt I've caused and stayed in my own lane while giving him space in hopes that it would help him heal. He is completely valid for everything he feels. I have and always will be sorry for what I've done. Seeing him break down and detailing his trauma on stream was heartbreaking, and I can't begin to imagine what he must have been feeling all this time. That stream was really sad to watch. Kenji, I'm sorry for doxing you. It was a stupid mistake to have even been made in the first place. The mistake is a very small word to cover doxing. That is a lot bigger than a mistake. But Dove continues, no matter how much time passes, it will always be one of my biggest regrets. I, as well as the people around me, will always hold myself accountable for this. I genuinely wish the best for you and hope that you don't still see me as the idiot I was 2 years ago. You mean 1 year ago. If you truly learned that doxing somebody was wrong, you wouldn't joke about doxing them again, right? That's literally really traumatizing. It's not funny. And so Dove actually came back a little bit earlier. So the previous stream, the horror stream, was not their first stream, right? They had written this September 5th. Hi, everybody. Long time no see. I want to simply start this off with an announcement. In a little over a week, I will be coming back to streaming as DOXXER. A lot of you may be unhappy or upset, and some may even be happy. However, I'm making this decision because streaming has been a dream of mine for a long time, and I want to take more steps on this path. I want to continue to put smiles on people's faces and do what I love most, while also accepting my past actions and taking accountability. Link below, I have made a final statement regarding any previous matters. Comments are left on for all of you to ask questions should you have any. I would like to move on and continue doing what I do, and I would appreciate it if people could respect this wish. I will start posting regularly as DOXXER again starting tomorrow. I love y'all very much, and I hope to see y'all very soon. So this is the unlisted video. Let's see this.
I'm trying not to give the stereotypical YouTuber apology sigh, but I'm really nervous. Hey guys, it's Dove, and I just wanted to make this video to hopefully ease some minds and help the transition of me coming back. I wanted to make this video as a means of clarification and accountability and moving forward. I want to say first and foremost that I will be leaving comments on for this video for respectful questions, and I will be happy to answer as many as I can. However, I am only one person, and I may not be able to answer all of them. Some questions may also have already been answered, so maybe look around and see if it's in the video or check any other comments that might have asked it already. While I will be keeping comments on, I will keep this video unlisted. It's not really my intention for this to go towards monetary gain or any views to go towards YouTube partner. However, I will continue to make this video easily accessible for anyone who wants to obtain it or wants to look back on it. Let's start off with clarifications. Number one, Kage and Introvert were not a part of the first group chat where the doxing took place. They were only a part of the second group chat, which was considered the hate group chat as it was discussed online. Number two, I did not and I do not have the victim nor his family's address. I've never had it. I've never went looking for it. I don't want it. Number three, I never intended for IRL harm to come towards the victim or his family or even any threats of that happening.
I'm just saying, bro, like, okay. First of all, let me say, please don't send hate to anybody because you are only stooping as low as this person, right? But throwing it by 2 cents, you're either malicious or you're stupid, and I'm sorry. How do you not know that doxing somebody can have harmful repercussions? So either you are vastly ignorant or you are malicious and you did it to hurt him. It's truly only one or the other. There's no way your brain is so small that you don't realize the harm that happens with doxing somebody. I feel like even like 12-year-old me would have known that doxing somebody is harmful and not cool and not okay. Maybe just a little.
I had information and I naively thought it was okay to have and share amongst friends. This was very wrong of me. I was new to the VTubing community.
To share amongst friends, there is an entire Discord server dedicated to bullying a VTuber and talking about how much you don't like this VTuber. This is weird behavior to me.
Importance of the information within this community, nor the severity of sharing it, even if privately. Obviously, this is not an excuse for my actions. It's simply an explanation of my thought process back then. Number four, as far as downplaying goes, I never intended to undermine or downplay the victim's experience of getting doxxed. I am, for better or for worse, a person who copes through humor, and I was making jokes about my own experiences of getting canceled as a means to make my own experience and perspective more lighthearted.
I'm also just saying, I can't feel any ounce of sympathy for you. I'm gonna be real, because your cancellation was a direct fault of you. Like, play stupid games, win stupid prizes. You know what I mean? Like, you wouldn't be going through the issues of cancellation if you didn't dox the poor guy. You know what I'm saying? Like, I cannot be sympathetic for people who are suffering the poor consequences of their own actions, okay? Like, what about Kenji? What about how he feels? About like living every day with the anxiety knowing that you have all this information about him that you doxed 2 years ago, and he had to spend 2 years living knowing that this information was circling around.
This is not me attempting to make myself out to be the victim. Getting canceled would take a negative toll on anyone, and I made extremely distasteful comments as a means to make
Of course it would take a negative toll on anyone. So would getting doxxed. And your cancellation was a result of you doxing Kenji. I again cannot feel bad for consequences that came to you due to your poor choices that hurt other people.
Light of my own experience and not anyone else's. I want to take accountability for this. These past 5 months have been filled with self-reflection on the past years, my journey as a VTuber, as a friend, as an overall person. This is not a means to run away from the past. I am accepting it as part of who I was and who it will make me tomorrow, depending on how I decide to act. I thought about running away. I thought about getting a new model and starting completely over on another account. But at the end of the day, I don't want to run. I want to accept the past and take accountability while also being able to continue to achieve my goals and dreams. I know the victim and I both had our own personal issues with each other. At the time, I had assumed they were solved with a singular phone call and everything was fine between us. I really should have looked back and seen.
I also will just say, throwing in my 2 cents, if we completely ignore any personal feelings, whatever, blah, blah, from a PR standpoint, this is a dumb choice. It is a dumb choice to come back on the same model that you used when you dox somebody. The reason being, and let's just even take all emotion out of it, right? The reason being is literally nobody will want to work with you anymore. Nobody will want to work with you because nobody will trust you. And this is one of those things where it does not matter how much you have changed as a person, right? People will not forget this. And this is not something that can be overlooked. Doxing somebody is actually a really, really big deal, especially in the VTuber space. Anonymity is so important. So you have proven yourself to be somebody that is not trustworthy and somebody that other VTubers cannot share information with in confidence. Not that Kenji shared any info with you like that. You found his stuff, but you have proven yourself to be somebody that is not trustworthy, that other VTubers would not want to get close with. So strictly from a PR standpoint, coming back on the same model was dumb. Also, on a complete side note, from a sponsorship and brand perspective, I feel like no company, no brand would want to work with you either if you have this to your name. In order to work with you, they would then have to ostracize themselves from working with Kenji. Just strictly from a brand perspective, right? And I'm just saying, like, you do not want to lose access to these large creators like Kenji.
Our personal issues should have never led me down a path of spite and anger and actions that were never appropriate in the first place. I take full accountability for this. I apologize to all the parties involved, and I will continue to be apologetic and remorseful. All I can ask is that you provide me just some grace and patience while I continue to try to do better daily as a human being in our little corner of the internet. Finally, I want to talk about moving forward. I want to move on. I want to show that I can be better, as I've been trying to, by moving forward and cultivating a positive space for my community. If you, as a viewer, as an old friend, or even as a stranger who just works in the same field as me, I guess, should choose not to support me due to my past actions or how you view me now, fully respect and love you all the same. If you are willing to welcome me back and support my future endeavors, I fully accept you, and I truly thank you for giving me another chance. I appreciate you more than words could really ever express. I know it's probably the biggest ask of anyone on the internet, but please try to keep my spaces positive. I understand concern, I understand distaste, I even understand hatred for my past actions, but I will never be able to move on and grow as a person if I'm constantly put in a box and compared to who I used to be. I would also like to say, please, please, please leave the situation and my comeback out of other people's spaces as well. Everyone involved has expressed that they want to move on, myself included, so please let everybody stay out of this. Again, if you have questions, please be respectful, and comments will be left on down below. If you want to ask anything, I will do my best to answer. I love you all very much. I truly wish the best for all of you, and I hope to see you soon.
And oh boy, on the last part about being like, I want to move on. I want to do this. Like, I want to keep it positive. Oh my God. I literally cannot because of what you did to Kenji. Like in Kenji's live stream, it was so sad because he was talking about how he was so anxious the entire time, not knowing if this stuff was going to come out or not, right? Because of your actions that you thought were XD, oh so funny, Kenji had to live in anxiety, worrying about this information coming out, this information getting leaked, who he is, something that should have never been looming over his head like this. And it was only because of your actions that it was like this. Just makes me feel some type of way to hear the person who doxed Kenji go around being like, I want to move on and be a better person. I know that I have been canceled and I've been going through it. They say they aren't trying to play the victim, but I just hear a different vibe from the video. Like maybe I am too pessimistic, but of course I am biased due to their past actions, clouding my perception of who they allegedly currently are. But again, I can completely understand people can grow and people can change. To me, my marker of Dove is in January 2023 when they were still joking about doxing Kenji, right? So you have not spent 2 years reflecting. It's only been one. Joking about the situation is still not cool, right? It still shows me that you have not matured or grown as a person, even if you may think you have. But secondly, your growth has not been as long as your duration of holding this information over his head. Does that make sense? Like this information has been held over Kenji's head for about 2 years and 4 months, and your growth has only been for less than that duration. So how am I to believe that you have fully grown and changed as a person? Your alleged growth too, let me put it that way, right? This is just me. I cannot fully believe that you have changed and learned for the better as of now, because the time to me is still too short. The time is still shorter than this duration of information being held over Kenji's head. I really hope they can change and be a better person, but I do have a hard time believing due to the short duration. And let's read some of the questions. Lig Zero Gaming writes, real talk, you can't call this accountability if the video is unlisted. And Dove writes, the video is unlisted in order to not go towards any gain other than people listening to it. I made it as easily accessible as possible so anybody can still watch it. I mean, you could just put it on your channel, but turn ads off, right? Heck Maester says, so the same accountability thing about unlisted videos. If this is meant to be easily accessible, why is it not your pinned tweet or in your Twitter bio? If you want accountability, then why unlist the video at all? The video should be in front of your YouTube page so everybody knows. No, you absolutely do not get to ask anybody to move on. It is not your choice. It is not your place to request. Exactly. It has not even been a full calendar year. Exactly. The docs happen April 17th. Or like that was when Kenji talked about it. I have actually been to therapy. I have sat down in an office with a psychologist and eventually a psychiatrist to figure out my problems as a person and my deep-rooted issues that made me the absolute mess of a human being I am. Not believing for a single second that 5 months of being away has gotten to any root of any issue you clearly don't think you have, but clearly do. Well, this is very harshly worded, but that's exactly my sentiment too. The time is way too short. Dove says, it is not pinned because I don't want this to be something that I talk about or bring up for the rest of my career. As for therapy, I did go and work on a lot of things, even before the graduation. If you don't believe me, that's perfectly fine. If you don't think I've changed for more than 6 months, that's fine too. I don't expect anyone to. I don't even expect people to move on, but I could at least hope that people can find me some grace and simply leave me to do my own thing, even if they don't agree with me. Peter Kong writes, so you are shamelessly resuming your VTubing because it's your passion while keeping your private details secure when you violated somebody else's trust and revealed their info. If the shoe was on the other foot, would you honestly forgive somebody that doxed you and tried to come back? Not holding my breath that you will answer. I actually want to hear this one answered. Midori says, I'm hearing a lot of, I didn't intend this. I cope through humor. I'm using accountability. I haven't heard a flat out apology, an apology without all the fluff attached to it, which I agree. Dove says that they have apologized. Jock says, why not get a regular job in which you aren't in the public eye? Dove says, I do have a regular job. This is more of a passion project. And with 11 likes, what's it to you? Writes, well, pick a passion project that does not involve a public facing and online presence. This is not it. Go away. Dane's wife says, have a question. Why are some of your credits listed as DM me? No offense, but I don't want to DM you to know who worked on your model and such. If it's a harassment thing, I guess I can understand, but I'd like to know why. Dove says, this is simply out of respect for the artist. I went to each of them one by one to gauge their comfort levels on still being affiliated with my name, as this debut was planned before I graduated. And wow, there's still people say, welcome back, miss you so much, we are so back. Look, here's my thing, man. Please don't send hate to anybody. That will only make you stoop as low as Dove. That's not cool here. I'm just saying, right? The actions that this person had a long-lasting impact on Kenji that will still follow him to this day. It is not something you can undo. You cannot undox somebody. So now that Kenji has been doxed, he was forced to live with his anxiety for over 2 years that this happened. So just to me, Dove just seems a little bit too xd, wishy-washy, give me some forgiveness and grace, lols. After spending, at the shortest time, 5 months to change or reflect, at the longest, their joke about doxing Kenji was January 2023. So it's been like, what, a year and a half? A little bit over that. Let me know your 2 cents as to whether you think they should be forgiven and welcome back to the VTuber space. Again, not enough time, bro. Not enough time. And it's a little bit too nonchalant, in my opinion, for the severity of what happened, which still makes me feel like they don't really understand the severity of it. That's just me, and that's just my opinion. I am curious to hear yours. Because again, I do want to recognize that people should be given second chances, depending on how badly what you did was. Do you think this is a situation where Dove should be given a second chance to come back? Do you think that due to them doxing Kenji, they should not be welcomed back at all? And again, do not send hate to people. That will only make you stoop as low. So anyways, if you like this video, I'd appreciate it if you like and subscribe. Go check out Kenji, man. Poor guy, man. This sucks for him. To be doxed as a VTuber and stuff like that is the worst of the worst. And not only that, there was like a whole hate Discord about him too. But yeah, I do stream on Twitch 3 days a week, Mondays, Wednesdays, Saturdays at 6 p.m. PST. So I hope to catch you guys there or in another one of my videos.